Hi, I'm Brent Atwater, the animal medium. That's right, I look at, talk to, and have face-to-face conversations with pet spirits. And welcome to our weekly show. Each week we answer questions sent in by you. So you can ask them in our group that's shown below, or you can send them to my website, or you can send them via Twitter or Instagram. And we pick them for the educational value of each question. That's how they're chosen. So we don't ask personal questions that would constitute a professional reading. We just talk about things that help educate and expand your awareness. Now, how do you know we get a new question? Well, if you subscribe, you'll get a notification when we put up each question and each new video. So I hope you'll stay tuned to do that. Let's see what we have today. All right, the question is, can more than one animal on the other side oversoul the same living pet? That's a good question. Can more than one animal oversoul the same living pet? Okay, now my answer to that is probably yes. But let me tell you what's really important to know. The most important thing is when an animal oversouls a pet. And if you want to know more about that, we have it on our blog. My book, After Death Signs, has a whole chapter on oversouling. But oversouling is when a pet in heaven directs the behavior and the actions of a living pet on earth, and they have contracted to do that, which means the pet on earth allows the pet in heaven to direct it and to tell it, oh, don't go over on that piece of paper because mother prefers that you go over on this chair. And so basically it's direction from heaven. Now, what's important about direction from heaven is a lot of people mistake oversouling as reincarnation. It's not. Oversouling is intermittent. Key word, intermittent. Even though it could be ongoing for 3 or 4 months, it's still intermittent and doesn't last permanently. Now, if two pets from the other side are directing and talking to a pet that's living, there's going to have to be a lot of space in between the two pets directing or oversouling the living pet. Why? Because when a pet directs from heaven, they're basically sending down an electromagnetic energy down into the pet's on earth body so that the living pet is literally got their little antenna up taking directions from the other side. So they can't be having directions from the right side from Fluffy and then from the left side from Harry, because that way their brain would be scrambled as in. So it's really important that if you have a living pet that you think is being oversouled by more than one pet on the other side, you'll notice that there is time in between so that it doesn't scramble the electromagnetics of the brain of the receiving pet. And that's just fact. An animal on the other side can oversoul a pet. More than one animal can oversoul a pet. But they don't do it on an ongoing and frequent basis because the electromagnetic signals coming in, remember, into the brain of the living pet would be overwhelmed and could create a stroke. So usually only one pet will oversoul the living pet. So I hope that answers your question. Yes, it's possible. The probability of it is not very high, and if that occurs, there's always space in between so that the living pet will not have electromagnetic directive overload and he have a seizure or something like that. Because basically that's electromagnetic energy from across the veils that's coming into a living body and working and adding more electromagnetic energy to the living body in order to direct it, and that has to process and assimilate into the living body so that it creates the behavior that you go, oh, that's like Fluffy used to be. Well, that's why it's also intermittent, because that energy can't come and go all the time, because if it does, it'll mess up your living pet's electromagnetic life force energy. So yes, it's possible. The probability of it is not very high, and there's always exceptions, but remember, it's changing up the electromagnetics of the brain who's receiving the energy of the living pet. So I hope that answers your question today. Thanks so very much. Stay tuned, subscribe. We've got lots more coming. Bye, bye, bye.